everyone for joining our live session today. As I said previously, my name is Boamah, and today I'll be taking you through the new services that was just launched last week. That's the DE Africa Waterbody services, Waterbodies monitoring services. That's what today I'll be taking all of us through it to discuss about these new services. And at the end of the presentation, you have a chance to also visit the two platform where you can also access these services. That's the sandbox and the maps. So I'll add a chance to take you through that one also, and you can actually discuss the services. So the Africa Waterbody services actually maps over 700 sorry, I lost connection. Let me reconnect again. Okay, let me turn off the video. Okay, sorry. So the water bodies actually map over 700,000 seasonal and permanent water bodies across the African continent. And it's actually a static water body which has been observed from 1984 to 2022. That means if water is clearly observed, at least 5% is being captured, and the maximum extent of that water body is mapped for that particular area. So as you can see, this actually the surface area change for that particular water body. So on the top one is the extent, as you can see, and below it is the graph of that particular water body over a period of time. During the live demo, we will go through and you actually see how these things are actually generated on the map interface for you to be able to know over the period of how the water body has been mapped throughout the period. So the methodology overview of how the water body was actually obtained. So you have two actual products, the surface area change product and the historical water body's historical extent product. And as you can see, all of it were actually the parent satellite imagery is the Landsat scene. And from the Landsat scene, water observation from space product was formed. And through that, that's where you actually will get the water body surface area change product. Then the all-time water observation summary is where we actually got we got the water body historical extent product also from. So the importance of this particular services is to help us to identify and analyze persistent and seasonal water bodies. That's water resource management, and also gain insights into the severity and the spatial distribution of drought. That's one of the most important of these services, which was why it was actually developed. The services can actually be found on the maps, which you will do a live demo on it after this short presentation. And you can also find it on the sandbox. So the sandbox also give you the extent for you to also do further analysis on the results that you are going to get for that particular water body. So this is actually the introduction of the services. That is the water body services that we have on it. And from here, I just want to go straight to the maps, and we can actually see how you can actually do a live demo on it. Okay. So the first one that I'll be doing will be to go on the Digital Earth Africa maps. I would like to share my screen again. Okay. So this is the Digital Earth Africa map session, and you can actually get this site by visiting this particular link. So I'll put it in the chat for users to also follow me, and you can actually do whatever I'm doing here also within the platform. So this is the map interface, and on the left side, you have the layer panel where you'll be able to explore and see how we can add the data set to it. So you go to the explore map data. Then you click on the explore map data. Then you click on the explore map data. Under the data catalog, you actually see the data set being arranged in a thematic format. So right now, the one that we're after is the surface water bodies. So I'll click here. Then I will go to the water body historical extent and surface area time series. So once I click on it, it will give me an information concerning the water bodies. And I'll click on the add. So once you click on it, I actually notice that because it's for the African continent, it will actually load only for the African continent. And through this side, you can either search or you can just zoom into the area that you want to actually work with. So I'd like to just go to some of the water bodies around the area. Then once I zoom in, it will show up for us for that particular area. It also depends on the your internet bandwidth, but the system is not that heavy, so you can actually zoom into particular area of interest that you want to work with. So depending on the water body, just zoom into that particular area, then the layer will actually load that particular area for you. Or you can also go by filter by location. Then when you click on that, it will actually filter that particular location for you, for that particular area. So as you can see, it works for most of the water bodies, ponds, lakes, big river bodies, and even some small rivers that are able to that we are also able to identify them. So once this layer is loaded, so this one gives us the historical extent for that particular water body. One of the things that you can also do is also click on it. And when you click on the data set, it will actually load an information, which is really loading up here. I think because my internet is very slow, let me just go for another water body that's much more closer and not that big for us to be able to load. So let's try this water body. So I'll click here. And as you can see, you can actually see the extent of these water bodies. And once you click on the water body, you notice that it will start to show loading to start to show the historical trend of the water body over the period. And this one you're talking about the size of the water body over that particular period. If you click on the expand, it will actually bring the water body change. You know, the products are actually two. So it will give you the surface area change details, which you can see it here. So here you can actually close it here. So for this water body, and looking at the legend, you see the area weight, that's meter square against the percentage weight. You can actually, depending on the one you want, you can actually turn it off. So this water body area weight against the size, you can see that mostly there has been water has been observed in this particular water body over the period. And you can even check when it was dry. So area observed when it was dry. So areas when this water body was dry, like it was below a certain threshold, or has when it was mostly dry, and you can actually also see that within the area here. Another thing is you can actually zoom in on the graph to go actually to specific dates. So if you have a particular date, because actually from the Landsat, you can actually zoom in and go for that particular date to see what actually happened. Which period did it, was it mostly the dry, it was mostly dry within that particular period. And you can also pick on the wet to see which day also we have most wet through it. One of the interesting things is that you can actually download the data as CSV and you can do further analysis on the data depending on wherever you are. If you look at the data sets here, if you load the chart, you notice that we made mention is a provisional product, meaning you'll be happy to have your feedback on this particular services that is out there. The performance, if you know any water body that this you can actually use this data set on and provide feedback on it, you'll be happy to have that particular feedback for it, so that you'll be able to continue to improve the data set, the algorithm, to make sure that we're actually giving a good results to the users who are using it. So you'll be happy for you to look at it and go through it and provide us feedback on it. One interesting thing is that anytime you work on this, you'll be able to share it with anybody. So what I've just done here, I'll click on the copy, then I'll paste it in the chat. So if I paste it in the chat, once you click on it, whatever I did here right now, you'll be able to observe it also. We can move to other water bodies. So let me come to West Africa. And let me come to this particular lake, Lake Posomtwe in West Africa, in Ghana. So when I click on the lake, you notice that the surface area change will load for us. So this one is in percentage. And once I click on the expand, you actually see how it has been observed over the periods. So this is the percentage wet, which you can turn it off. Then we can have only the area as compared to the wetness. You can also check when it was dry, the percentage against those areas, then you can have it. So area wet, then the percentage, you can have this data set. Then you can also download it if you want to do further analysis or use it against another algorithm. Then you can download it also as CSV and also use the data set. Another way to download it is also using this double three dots here. Once you click on it, you can click on export, then it will export the data set for you. Then it will also export the data set for you to be able to visualize it for this particular services. Then outside the map also, you can also find it on the you can also find it on the sandbox. So in the sandbox, if you have the credentials and everything, if you register for it, you go to the data sets. And the data sets, if you log onto the sandbox, you're going to get these informations. But the data sets actually found in the services found in the data set. So you go to the data sets. Then within the data set, you look for water bodies. So if you open water bodies, this is actually what will show up for you. We'll give you the background information. Then we let you know the application of it. So you can use it to identify and analyze persistence and seasonal water bodies, water resource management, and also gain insight into the severity and spatial distribution of the drought of it. So because the Jupyter notebook or the sandbox works in sequential order, and it's because of code. Normally, if you have a code, the first thing that you're supposed to do is come to the kernel, then go to restart kernel and run all cells. So once you click on the restart kernel and run all cells, all the cells will run for you from the beginning to the end. And as you see, that it changes from asterisk to number, meaning it is now running up. And the area that you want to work with. So normally you can provide the latitude and the longitude for that particular area. Then the system will do the rest for you. So you just provide the latitude and the longitude for the area that you want to work with. If the latitude and longitude is very difficult for you to find, on the Africa maps, you can come here. So for instance, if I want to work with this particular water body, I'll click on here. Then that's the latitude and the longitude, which is here. So I can simply copy this one and come and paste it here. So for latitude is 6.5 and the longitude is minus 1.4. So I'll just paste it here, then I also specify the buffer. Then once I'm done with that, what I will do is, once I'm done with that, what I will do is to run it again, but I'm using the default. But if I change the latitude and the longitude, once I'm done with it, what I'll do, I'll just go back to the kernel, restart kernel, and run all cells. So with the latitude and the longitude, if you want to specify your latitude and the longitude, what you do is you can come to the maps, identify the water body that you want to work with, or if you already have the latitude and the longitude, but if you don't have it, you can come to the maps, identify the water body, click on it, then the latitude and the longitude will be generated for you here. So the lat is the first, the longitude is second. So with that, you can actually copy it. Using the Ctrl+C, you select it, then you copy it. Then when you come to the sandbox, you can actually paste it here. Then you pick the latitude, that's the 6.64. You put it here. Then you pick the longitude. Because it's west, that means it's going to be minus 1.49. Then you paste it there. So once you have this one, you can now click on kernel, restart kernel, and run also to run everything for you again. But right now, I want us to use the default one to go through it. And after that, I'll come back for us to run this particular cell so that we'll be able to get the results for what you are running it. So this actually displays the latitude and the longitude for that particular area for you. Sometimes if you load, notice that it has been shifted. This particular map section can also help you get latitude and the longitude. So if I click on it here, it also generates the latitude and the longitude for you. So you can also use this side to play with it to get the latitude and the longitude for that part, for the study area. Then the next cell is getting the data. Here is actually automated generated for you. So the system will actually list all the water bodies for that particular area for you. And this cell will display the water bodies. So you have the larger one and also have the small water bodies around. And you can actually use the Explorer to actually visualize it. So the Explorer lets you know the ID for that particular water body. If you notice here, there was water body that has been generated with their UIDs. And if you look at the display polygons here, it's not interactive. So you don't know which particular UID is this water body. So the Explorer actually gives you access for you to know which UID is this water body. And as you can see, the UID is EDZ5CM, that's the UID. And right now, if you want to only work with this water body, you need the UID. So one of the things you can come and check the UID from here, and you can copy that particular UID, or you can take that UID from this particular side. Then after getting a UID, if you need a specific data for a specific water body, you put that particular UID here, that's the GeoHash here, then it will only give you that particular water body, only focus on that particular water body. Then the next function can give you the detailed information for that particular water body alone. So the detailed information of that particular water body. Then you also get the time series analysis for that particular water body. So what we are able to generate in the maps here, we can also generate that same thing within the sandbox also here. And the maps helps you to visualize it and just visualize the results here. But with the sandbox, you can do further analysis based on what you are getting here to work on it to get more detailed information. So this services is actually an interesting services to actually help us to do monitoring of our water bodies. But I'll be happy to have your feedback on it, on how it's actually performing within the area of interest that you are working with. And if we get feedbacks from you on this particular service, it also actually help us to improve on the algorithm so that it will actually help us to do the monitoring of our water bodies and to get more insight also out of it. And the Africa is actually happy to release it for all of us to have access to it and to use this wherever we are. And we will also be happy to have your feedback on it. So that is it for the water body services that is now introduced for everyone in the African continent to use it. Thank you, everyone. Link in the chat, and within the link, it will send you to the DA Africa Water Body Monitoring Services. Then if you scroll down to the data access session, sorry. Let me go. So when you come to the data access session, actually see that we have the Africa Water Body Historical Extent as Shafer or Geo package. So depending on the one that you want to work with. So once you click on it, it will download the data set for you to be able to use it outside the sandbox or outside the maps session. Okay, be happy to improve upon it also. So thanks everyone for joining us. And it was great and pleasure to meet all of you during this session. Next week, we are going to have the French version for this particular services also. Joseph,
everyone, just recognizing most of not everyone, especially let's recognize Nancy from Botswana, who is part of Farmer Cooperative. So thank you, Nancy. Nice to have you on board.
Everyone for joining us, and hopefully next week will be in the French version, and we will be happy to see you there also. So thank you very much, and thanks all of you, and see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.